Now on Coast TV News.
Biting wind chills greeting us out the door this morning. Bundle up, layer up, avoid prolonged exposure outdoors today. We're going to have plenty of sunshine. Temperatures not warming up all that much. The latest timing and projected snowfall totals of our impending coastal storm this weekend coming up.
Plus, working in cold weather. With jobs that need to get done, how people are dealing with the frigid conditions.
Spending strategy shared. Just weeks into 2026, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is ready to roll out budget plans for fiscal year 2027.
And nuclear power proposal, the move made in the Delaware General Assembly that keeps this energy source as a future option.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It's Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us during this 5 o'clock hour.
And Grace, you and I, we get here a couple of hours before airtime. Feel like temperature when I pulled into the parking lot? 5.
Only
5 degrees. Only 5.
You can't even round that up to like double digit 10, if that.
And I took a peek at Chris's map. There's some feels like temperatures below 0 out
I know.
there.
If anything, we're lucky over here.
So 5 is balmy.
Oh, gosh. Well, speaking about Chris, you have been beyond busy last week. You're going to be busy going into this weekend. And Chris, you're busy now because it's freezing outside.
Grace and Matt, yeah, we are seeing really some biting wind chills out there this morning. Layer up. You know the drill by now. Avoid prolonged exposure outdoors if you don't need to really be outside at this hour. Right now in Ocean City, you can see the icy docks there and the icy inlet. We're at 17 degrees in Ocean City. We're holding at 8 in Georgetown, 2 degrees in Harrington. When you factor in the wind, it feels like 2 below in Harrington, 1 in Milford. It feels like 3 in Rehoboth and 4 in Longneck. Now we have clear skies across the region this morning, and we are just going to stay really bone dry here over the next 2 days as Arctic air continues to flow down. Really polar air continues to flow down through much of the eastern half of the country. Now wind chills, single digits to near below 0 this morning. Look at, by the time we get to the afternoon here, 24 for a high, but only feeling like 12 to 13, and that's during the warmest part of the day. Now, we have winter storm watches now in effect for Accomack, Worcester County, primarily our southern areas right now. They may start to extend this a little north here as we get in time, or maybe post some winter weather advisories up through Delaware. But as we've been mentioning, this potential coastal storm as we go into the weekend is going to be more to the south. It's going to be hitting areas that don't normally get a lot of snow. Oftentimes they get ripped off. Now here's what we know right now. The coastal storm is going to begin Saturday night through Sunday. The greatest impacts are going to be at the coast. There's going to be a very sharp cutoff to who gets multiple inches and who gets virtually nothing the further north and west you go. Winds are really going to pick up at the beaches. 35 to 50 mile an hour gusts, which could lead to coastal flooding. Now, there's still some possibilities the storm could track a bit further west, a bit further east, and that will play a role into how much snow we see across the area. Coming up, I'll have the latest projected snowfall totals and timing on that snow coming up here in a little bit.
Thank you, Chris. And be sure that you download the Coast TV app for your phone, your iPad, your tablet. In case you didn't know, you can also get the Coast TV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
All righty.
Yeah, all right. Our top story this hour is our continuing coverage of the temperatures on Delmarva. Temperatures that are extremely low and temperatures that are at times dangerous. There is concern for people whose job requires working outside. We went to the Rehoboth Public Works, talked to people there about what you can do if you are in these temperatures.
Don't try to do everything all at once. Take your time, do a little bit at a time. Go in, warm up, drink a hot cocoa, coffee, something to relax you a little bit, and then go out and do a little bit more.
Yeah, according to health experts, the best approach also is wearing several layers of clothing in the winter weather.
A number of school districts will return to in-person classes today after staying home due to the snow and extremely cold temperatures. The Milford School District says it will operate under a 2-hour delay. The Laurel School District confirms students will also return under a 2-hour delay, and officials say this is in place for today and tomorrow. The Delmar School will work under a 90-minute delay, and Wacomico County Public Schools will also work under a 90-minute delay.
University of Maryland Eastern Shore is announcing an update on when students can move in. This comes after plans were adjusted due to the severe weather. According to the university, students can move in on one of these 3 dates: Friday, January 30th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday the 31st, same time frame, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and also Sunday, February 1st, again from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The university says students who need additional flexibility are allowed to move in through Friday, February 6th.
Salisbury University says campus is now cleared for spring semester move-in. Move-ins run now through February 1st from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with additional evening hours after 8. The university says new students must arrive by 11 a.m. Saturday for orientation, and parking on main campus is limited to unloading only. School officials say classes will remain virtual through Friday, with in-person classes scheduled to return Monday pending weather. And it was a slow going for motorists on a stretch of interstate in DeSoto County, Mississippi. Icy conditions forcing a partial shutdown of I-55 with a line that extended for miles down the interstate. Officials say road crews will continue to focus on opening all lanes of I-55 and I-22. And they're urging drivers in northern Mississippi to stay off the roads unless it's an emergency.
New this morning, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to present his budget proposal to the Delaware General Assembly later today. The presentation is scheduled for 2 p.m. at the Delaware Public Archives, and this comes during the same week that House Republicans introduced Bill 282. That legislation aims to decrease state spending by 1%.
Happening today in Milton, the town's Special Review Committee is looking at a request filed by Scarlet Oaks Holdings, LLC for annexation into the town. It is for the land that we're showing you on your screen now. Last year, Scarlet Oaks indicated it wanted to use the land for commercial space. And according to the committee, they plan to discuss the findings of impacts, advantages, disadvantages, cost-benefit analysis, and the committee's advisory report.
New this morning, Delaware legislation that would extend the Nuclear Energy Feasibility Task Force is moving forward. Senate Concurrent Resolution 129 is now passed both chambers in the General Assembly. Officials say the resolution extends the existence of the task force and puts the deadline for its report at July 31st. The task force is studying the potential for small modular reactors and examine the costs, benefits, and long-term role of nuclear power. And this just in, 2 border agents who fired the guns in the shooting that killed Alex Preddy are now on administrative leave.
But questions remain surrounding the investigation into the shooting, with more Republicans calling for an independent probe. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how now outrage over the shooting could lead to a partial government shutdown.
This morning, the 2 Border Patrol agents who fired their guns in Alex Preddy's fatal shooting in Minneapolis are on administrative leave, according to the Department of Homeland Security, with President Trump's border czar Tom Homan set to speak, looking to ease tensions in a city on edge.
Seeing what's going on in Minnesota, it really breaks my heart.
The Minnesota governor still pressing for federal agents to leave the state, saying he's seen no sign of that.
I have no evidence they have.
All as new video emerged of Preddy in an altercation with federal immigration officers 11 days before he was killed. The footage from online media outlet The News Movement shows Preddy yelling at agents and kicking their SUV, breaking a taillight before agents tackle him. The video does not show what led up to the confrontation. Preddy's family saying they knew about the incident after it happened, adding he posed no threat to anyone and that nothing could possibly have justified his killing. In a separate sign of boiling tensions, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar speaking out after a man rushed and sprayed her at a town hall with what her office now says investigators believe was apple cider vinegar. She blamed rhetoric from President Trump.
The fear and intimidation doesn't work on me.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle condemned the frightening incident.
Political violence or those sort of confrontations should be condemned across the board.
As they work to prevent a partial government shutdown by the end of the day tomorrow, with Democrats dug in against Homeland Security funding without changes to immigration enforcement operations. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New this morning, the Shine a Light public interview series continues today with a focus on Delaware state parks. Michael Ritter, director of Denrick's Division of Parks and Recreation, will be interviewed by our very own Madeline Overturf and other journalists. According to officials, the discussion will cover future plans, construction, and how the public is informed about changes in the parks. This all takes place today from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the Lewis Public Library.
New this morning, a bipartisan bill in the Delaware General Assembly could make Delaware the first state in the nation to pass a right to repair law focused on marine equipment. Lawmakers say House Bill 279 would require boat and engine manufacturers to provide fair access to parts, tools, and repair information. The bill is sponsored by Republican State Rep Rich Collins of Millsboro, and on the Senate side by Democrat Russ Huxtable, who represents parts of Sussex County. House Bill 279 is now pending in the House Transportation Committee.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News today.
Coming up, construction consideration, the decision in Ocean Pines on a new addition to its fire department.
Also, cold weather health concerns, how you can stay safe in the midst of these extreme lows.
And life-saving response, how a serious crash that nearly took the life of a Sussex County bicyclist is the latest example of a new blood technique used by first responders. It is this week's Coastal Connections, and it's next on Coast TV News Today. Bicycling on trails and roads is a big activity in the communities where we live, but because those cyclists share those roads with cars and trucks, it can sometimes lead to tragedy, and that was nearly the case in one such incident over the summer. But thanks to a good Samaritan, first responders, and a new blood technique, one man who was hit hopes to ride his bike again. A summer bike ride on the Lewis-Georgetown Trail, a ride that was life-changing for Chris Evans.
I guess there was a car coming that I didn't see.
I received a call from BB Hospital, an actual ER nurse who had said my husband was in a severe accident.
He was hit by an SUV which left him with a brain injury, dozens of broken bones, damage to his kidneys and liver.
He had a brain injury as well. So it was very extensive, and they did not know if he would survive.
And that is when paramedics helped Evans with a fairly new treatment called whole blood. Whole blood has red blood cells, clotting factors, platelets, and plasma.
Whole blood was the absolute difference. There is no chance that we're here today without whole blood in the back of the ambulance.
The here Cowan referred to was the Sussex County Public Safety Headquarters in December. It was a reunion between Evans and those who helped save his life.
You're a mess. You're a mess. I've seen some ugly stuff, but you're a mess. And I'm happy to see you sitting here.
Chris is here today with his family to celebrate the holidays, which is the biggest blessing we could ever have.
This whole event made me realize how fragile life really is. And I hope I don't get emotional about it, but I'm here because they do what they do, and that's the basic.
Chris had a walking stick with him on this day, and though he is still working towards a full recovery, Chris Evans is determined to get back to riding his bike. For Coastal Connections, I'm Matt Pensick. We are hitting 5:18 on this Thursday morning, and we are showing you a live look at the bright lights along the canal in Lewis. And in a moment, as we bring back First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono, we will show you the QR code on your screen. Scan that with your phone. Just Chris, that's a key thing to have with another storm heading our way.
Yeah, very good to have. You could personalize it to your exact zip code, and you can get all the latest watches warnings when they are issued. We have a live look into Rehoboth. Yes, we are frigid this morning. 15 degrees in Rehoboth. Look at these temperatures. 2 in Harrington. We're at 8 in Georgetown. 4 in Redden. When you factor in the wind, boy, it feels like 7 below in Harrington, 3 below in Milford. Feels like 1 in Rehoboth and 2 in Gumboro. tomorrow. Avoid a prolonged exposure outside. If you have to be outside, you cover any exposed skin. Now, we do have that cold weather advisory that continues until 10 a.m. tomorrow, so we're going to do it all again tomorrow morning, too, across the peninsula, and those extend southward in through Dorchester, Wicomico, as well as Worcester counties. We have plenty of clear skies across the area, so we're expecting plenty of sunshine today. Not really going to warm us up all that well as Arctic high pressure continues to settle in over much of the eastern half of the country. Mostly sunny skies today. We get up to 24 in Georgetown, 26 Bethany Beach, 24 in Cambridge, and there's those biting wind chills feeling like the single digits and teens through the afternoon. By tomorrow morning, once again, dipping below zero, feeling like -5 in Ellendale, even into Saturday morning, expecting some sub-zero wind chills away from the beaches as this bitter cold air continues to hang on. Plenty of clear skies through the afternoon today. We stay clear and really cold into Friday morning, dipping into the single digits once again. Challenging record cold highs by Friday afternoon as clouds begin to increase Friday night ahead of our coastal storm. There's those winds gusting in excess of 30 miles an hour through the afternoon, and then we'll continue to see gusts in excess of 20 as we go into the day on Friday. There's our precipitation chances ramping up Saturday through Sunday. Now, we do already have a winter storm watch in effect for Accomack and Worcester counties. Now, this is going to be the zone where we do expect the highest totals here. Now, that's subjected to change, all based on this area of low pressure that's really going to explode off the southeast coast as we go into Saturday. Winds are really going to be picking up at the coast as well. Any shift in this system is going to determine how much snow we see, but there's going to be a very sharp cutoff the further north and west you go. You see that snow breaking out late Saturday morning to our south, over spreading into Delaware through Saturday night, and then you see that sharp cutoff when you go to Washington, D.C., Baltimore, virtually nothing, and right along the coast, and you can see all that heaviest moisture offshore. This system's really going to begin to intensify as we go into Sunday, and that's why those winds are going to pick up, so coastal flooding is going to be an issue. So an early call snow map here. We have 3 to 6 for most of the Delaware beaches, just to the southeast of Salisbury, down to Chrisfield into Chickateague, Asti, areas that normally don't get a lot of snow. 2 to 4 from Georgetown into Salisbury through portions of Cambridge, and then a coating to an inch northern Delmarva into the northern midshore. There's going to be a very sharp cutoff, a bust zone as we like to call it in the meteorological world. 26 in through Sunday, 32. We finally get to the freezing mark there on Monday, and holding in the mid to upper 30s into the early part of next week. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. And be sure to download the CoastTV app for your phone, your iPad, your tablet. And in case you didn't know, you can also get the CoastTV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Bethany Beach is keeping a close eye on the coastline as more rain and snow are expected to move in this weekend. Dune restoration efforts have helped protect the beach in the past, but every big storm brings new fear that the sand could wash away. People in town tell us it's become frustrating.
Our community, they work hard to keep the beaches so that they're big enough for our enjoyment to go out there and just have fun. And then within the same year that it's fixed, it's gone. Yeah. There's got to be something better that we could do.
And we continue to monitor the potential effect of this storm and the damage it could do to the beach. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how cold is too cold for you? Let's take a look at the results.
So far, 50% of people saying below 30 degrees. I guess that makes sense when you live in a nice coastal area, right? And then other people saying below 10, and then below 20. What an interesting
I'm curious of those people voting never too cold. One of those could be our director, Cody, who loves this type of weather.
That wasn't you?
No.
You can't sense my sarcasm. Well, we do have a comment from Sharon in Milton. Matt, did you submit this under someone else's name?
No, but Sharon and I apparently have the same line of thought.
Oh my goodness. Matt sounds like she's a fan of the sunny and 75, just like you. I don't know if she's got her boogie board out like you do, but if you haven't done so, you can still vote on our coasttv.com, or you can do so on our mobile app, and you can leave us a comment.
Yeah.
All right, now the polar plunge. Unfortunate news here in Rehoboth. Benefiting Special Olympics has been postponed. The nonprofit says with severe weather conditions on the way, February 27th to March 1st. They've been named as the makeup dates.
Up next, construction consideration. The next steps in Ocean Pines after a decision regarding emergency crews. We'll be right back on Coast TV News Today.
The Ocean Pines Association Board unanimously approved a construction contract for a new fire station. Construction is expected to take about 60 weeks once crews break ground, possibly as early as next month. The more than $6 million project replaces the current station that was built in 1981, which firefighters say is out of code, overcrowded, and no longer meets department needs.
Growth on the coast. We know it's a big issue. We have growing pains because everyone wants to live here, but it comes at a cost. Roads, infrastructure development, a loss of open space, all of that creates conflict and concerns.
Coast TV News has investigated all the deep-seated issues that brought us to where we are today. On February 4th at 7 p.m., join us for a one-hour special to help you understand the price of paradise growth on the coast.
Well, I'm about to lace up my skates here in Ocean City. Look at all the ice here that has formed along the inlet and the dock. Just a frosty morning on tap, 16 degrees in Ocean City. And we're going to have plenty of sunshine today, but look at these temperatures only getting into the low to mid 20s from Ocean City to Fenwick Island. It's going to feel like the single digits and teens with wind gusts near 30 miles an hour. Mostly sunny skies through Lewis and Rehoboth. Bundle up, layer up, avoid your time outside, and cover up any exposed skin. 22 into Cambridge by noon. We'll round out around 26 in Crisfield this afternoon. Again, feeling like the single digits in teens. Congratulations to Barbara Collins of Pocomoke City, Maryland on winning an umbrella from Coast TV. And you can always call our Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. I'll have the latest timing and projected snowfall into this weekend coming up in our next half hour.
Thank you, Chris. After the break on Coast TV News Today, Nuclear Energy Committee continues how efforts to study the possibility in Delaware are moving forward.
Also, Delaware budget presentation. Governor Matt Meyer is set to talk about 2027 while a new bill is focusing on the 2026 budget.
Plus, staying warm outside, how to be safe without sacrificing outside exercise. Coast TV News Today continues after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
Running dedication in the cold.
The most important thing is make sure you're wearing layers.
The big freeze is not stopping runners, how they stay protected from the elements.
Biting wind chills greeting us out the door this morning. Bundle up, layer up, avoid prolonged exposure outdoors today. We're going to have plenty of sunshine. Temperatures not warming up all that much. The latest timing and projected snowfall totals of our impending coastal storm this weekend coming up.
Plus, nuclear next steps. Delaware continues its look at bringing some small modular reactors online.
And fiscal focus. Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is set to reveal his spending plans for 2027, while some House Republicans are pitching a reduction to the 2026 budget.
This is Coast TV News Today.
January 29th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us today.
5:31 a.m. We have some school delays that we are going to get to in a moment, but a number of those back roads still had ice issues, and then it's just the overall. Do you want your children out in the single-digit temperatures getting ready for that school bus? Right.
Oof, that would be. They say layers are important, gloves, mittens. I don't know about you when you were younger, but sometimes I was like, I'm too cool to wear gloves. Why? When I was little, I was like, my poor mother.
Yeah, I never was too cool for school. Like I don't want my fingers frozen.
Oh,
so
okay. You weren't a fashionista at the bus stop?
I was.
That hard to believe.
I was. Fortunately, that was before the internet, so there's no photographic evidence of that. We have some evidence of some very cold temperatures. Pardon me here. I think we might have some issues getting to Chris. Am I hearing that correct? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Hey, good morning, Matt and Grace. Yeah, we were telling you about this brutally cold air. This is going to be the brunt of it the next 2 mornings, and we're seeing some sub-zero wind chills on the peninsula at this hour. We're at 14 in Rehoboth as far as the temperature, so it's milder at the beaches in the teens. Further inland, we're down to 4, 2 in Harrington, 9 in Delmar. But check out these bitter wind chills. 7 below in Harrington. 3 below in Milford. We're at 1 below in Seaford, and we are feeling like 1 degree there in Rehoboth Beach as we continue to see the wind flow out of the northwest. That cold polar air continues to funnel down in through the eastern half of the country and set the stage for a potential coastal storm over the weekend. Now we gradually, and I mean gradually, rise into the lower 20s, but I'll tell you what, it's not going to feel like the 20s. It's going to feel more like the teens through the afternoon, 12 and 13 during the warmest part of the day. Now we have newly issued winter storm watches for our southern areas, Crisfield in through Berlin and Ocean City, Worcester, Accomack counties. These kick into effect on Saturday and roll into Sunday. That's due in part to our developing coastal storm that we expect to impact the areas. The greatest impacts are going to be at the coast with snow, wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour, and the potential of coastal flooding. I'll have more on that here in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Chris. And be sure to download the Coast TV app for your phone and tablet, as you can also get the Coast TV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
And we've been talking about this all week. Those temperatures on Delmarva still extremely low and can be dangerous for those out in the cold. This isn't stopping people who want to get in their daily exercise. We spoke with people on Delmarva about what they do to stay warm in these frigid conditions.
Your body's going to warm up, but you want to make sure that if it is below freezing, you want to be covering all extremities. The most important thing is make sure you're wearing layers.
And according to health experts in Dorchester County, people should be wearing at least 3 layers when heading outside in these extremely low temperatures.
A number of school districts will return to in-person classes today after staying home due to the snow and extremely cold temperatures. The Milford School District says it will operate under a 2-hour delay. Laurel School District confirms students will also return under a 2-hour delay, and officials say this is in place for today and also tomorrow. Del Mar working under a 90-minute delay. Wicomico County Public Schools also working under a 90-minute delay. New overnight, the unrelenting cold hitting much of the U.S. has continued for an exceptionally long stretch, and as we've been talking about, Grace, there's more on the way.
The frigid air set to blanket the eastern half of the U.S. all the way down south to South Florida. Not even Miami is safe down there, Matt. Rebinian showing us how the chill will be inescapable, even in Miami, where the temperatures could drop down to the mid-30s.
Our lows will get into the negatives, as low as -3 or 4.
Officials in Washington, D.C. warning the brutal winter weather isn't over.
Current forecast is for 10 days. This is going to be one of the top 5 longest running cold streaks on record.
This as Washington is still dealing with the crippling effects of the Arctic blast.
Very cold weather that has turned that snow and ice into solid, almost concrete-like conditions.
D.C. isn't alone, and the severe winter weather doesn't appear to be over. With millions of people in the U.S. already shivering amid the extended cold air outbreak, one of the longest in decades for some, it's likely to get more brutal in the coming days. The eastern half of the country is set to get hit with a new push of bitter air, making temperatures plunge even further Friday through Monday. Upwards of 200 daily cold temperature records could be broken as far south as Florida. Weekend temperatures could drop more than 30 degrees below normal in some areas, especially in the east, and in the south, which is still coping with massive power outages from the last dose of icy weather.
We're trying our best to get all of our 3-phase major lines back on. The weather conditions, trees are still falling, limbs are falling.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
New this morning today, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to present his budget proposal to the Delaware General Assembly. The presentation is scheduled for 2 p.m. at the Delaware Public Archives, and this comes during the same week House Republicans introduced Bill 282, the legislation that aims to decrease state spending by 1%.
Also today, Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings is expected to hold a press conference to announce a new initiative supporting survivors of domestic violence. Joining her is Sue Ryan. She's the executive director of the Delaware Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And this is scheduled for this afternoon at 2. It's at the Carville State Office Building in Wilmington.
Happening today in Milton, the town's Special Review Committee is looking at a request filed by Scarlet Oaks Holdings LLC for the annexation into the town. It's for the land that you can see on your screen now. Last year, Scarlet Oaks indicated that it wanted to use the land for commercial space. According to the committee, they plan to discuss the findings of impacts, advantages, disadvantages, cost-benefit analysis, and the committee's advisory report.
New this morning, Delaware legislation that would extend the Nuclear Energy Feasibility Task Force continues to move forward. According to state officials, Senate Concurrent Resolution 129 has now passed both chambers in the General Assembly, and officials say the resolution extends the existence of the task force and puts the deadline for its report at July 31st. This task force is studying the potential for small modular reactors, and also examining the cost, benefits, and long-term role of nuclear power.
New this morning, a bipartisan bill in the Delaware General Assembly could make Delaware the first state in the nation to pass a right to repair law focused on marine equipment. Lawmakers say House Bill 279 would require boat and engine manufacturers to provide fair access to parts, tools, and repair information. The bill is sponsored by State Representative Rich Collins of Millsboro and State Senator Russell Huxtable, who represents parts of Sussex County. Now, according to state leaders, House Bill 279 is now pending in the House Transportation Committee.
The Border Patrol agents involved in the shooting of Alex Preddy have been placed on administrative leave. That's according to DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. The announcement came the same day the department distanced itself from its initial statement on the shooting. Shortly after that shooting on Saturday, DHS said Preddy violently resisted Customs and Border Protection. A department spokesperson now says that an investigation is underway and DHS will let the facts lead the investigation. We have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, weather health impacts. How the cold conditions could be dangerous, according to doctors.
Also, Route 13 rivalry. Seaford goes for the regular season sweep of Laurel tonight in boys basketball.
Good Thursday morning, Delmarva. Some dangerous wind chills greeting us this morning. Need the warm beverage, the layer clothing, avoid being outside for a prolonged period of time. And yes, don't forget those hats and gloves and scarves as you make your way out. See the icy inlet here in Ocean City. We're at 15 degrees, and look at some of these wind chills. Feels like 0 in Easton, 1 in Lewis, feels like 2 below in Harrington. Plenty of clear skies out there, and we're going to have plenty of sunshine today, but also plenty of cold. Temperatures reaching the mid-20s, lower to mid-20s across the area, feeling like the single digits and teens. I'll have the latest on our coastal storm here in minutes.
A longtime community staple in Delmar is closing its doors at the end of the month. Brian in Brittingham has been serving people for more than 74 years, and in times of severe weather like we're seeing now, the full-service feed and hardware stores sold crucial supplies to neighbors. They're closing on Saturday, they say, to spend more time with family.
The Beach Heroes of Ocean City have announced February cleanup dates. Officials say on February 3rd from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Cleanups will take place on 82nd Street in the Rope Walk parking lot. On February 7th from 10 a.m. to noon on 127th Street North Side. And on February 10th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the County Recycling Center. The last two dates on February 17th, also from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the Saltwater parking lot, and on February 24th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 65th Street in the Rick's Market lot.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
On the court, Seaford hosts Laurel in boys basketball, which you can find live on DSN tonight at 6:30. These Henlopen and South rivals met just over a month ago with the Blue Jays handing the Bulldogs an 8-point loss on their home court. Seaford, they are battle-tested. Not only have they already played Laurel, but they've played some of the best competition in the entire state of Delaware. And they have had slip-ups against nobody but the best of the best, like St. George's Tech, who they actually played the day after they won against Laurel last month, and they lost on the road by 12. Their most recent loss, well, you'd have to go back to the 6th of this month, when again on the road against a loaded Middletown team. They had a first-half lead, but they ended up losing by 15 points. talked to Coach Vince Evans earlier this week, and he stressed to us, we know we have the talent, right? His son, Vince Evans III, one of the best players in the Henlopen. Swag Matthews, his partner, and his cousin, he's an elite player as well. But it's been the third quarters that have really been a damper this season for Seaford. The issues haven't been there over the last few games. They've won 5 in a row ever since they lost to Middletown. They'll look to make it 6 straight tonight against Laurel. Again, you can catch that game live on DSN. Have a great day, Delmarva.
And here's what is coming up tonight on DSN. As you just saw, it's that big game in the Henlopen South when Laurel makes the short trek to Seaford. Along with that game, here are your DSN Plus exclusives. At 4, those same 2 schools, they meet in girls basketball. And then we have a couple of boys basketball matchups starting at 5:30. Parkside visits Snow Hill. North Dorchester is at St. Peter and Paul. And at 5:45, Delmar hosts Woodbridge.
Entertainment news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minutes.
That treadmill has not ceased for me.
Jason Sudeikis is back on the Ted Lasso treadmill. Apple TV says season 4 of the popular series will debut this summer. A half-dozen familiar faces will be joined by a flock of new characters as Ted returns to Richmond to coach a women's football team.
Instacart lets you choose your bananas. Get 'em just how you like.
Instacart promotes its preference picker in its new Super Bowl ad with a back-flipping Benson Boone and Ben Stiller as his retro Euro disco pop duo partner who's determined not to be outshined. You'll see if he's okay on Super Sunday.
What's a booster? Somebody that steals clothes from the store and sell it at a discount price? It's like community service.
Keke Palmer leads a squad of shoplifters targeting a fashion maven played by Demi Moore in I Love Boosters. The first teaser just dropped for the new movie from Sorry to Bother You filmmaker Boots Riley. I Love Boosters opens in theaters May 22nd. Always fashion forward in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign-up to get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Sub-zero wind chills this morning as you step out the door, and that bitterly cold air is going to be with us through the weekend, setting the stage for a coastal storm. And we are beginning to finally iron out some of the details for our impending storm. I'll have the latest after the break.
The time is now 5:49 a.m. as we are looking into a frigid Delmarva. This is a view in Ocean City. Chris, my vision's not that good. Is that iced over?
Yeah, that is ice.
You are going to get your ice skates out.
Oh, yes. You're seeing that a lot across the area. We've been well below freezing since, Sunday afternoon. We had those temperatures rise into the 40s. But, we are seeing some brutally cold air over the region this morning. 15 degrees right now in Ocean City. We're at 2 in Harrington, 9 in Long Neck, 14 in Rehoboth, but it feels like 3 below in Bridgeville, 7 below in Harrington, and it feels like 1 degree in Rehoboth Beach at this hour. That's why these cold weather advisories are still into effect. We're going to do it all again tomorrow morning, and that's why they remain in effect through 10 a.m. Friday. We have in effect through Dorchester, Wycomico, and Worcester counties. These run through 10 a.m. today. Clear skies on Delmarva this morning, but we are frigid as that Arctic high-pressure system continues to settle in over the east, and we continue to see impulses of polar air sink southward across the United States. Highs today only reaching the lower to mid-20s, but again, the wind chills are going to be the key today, only feeling like the single digits and teens, and that's during the warmest part of the day. We once again dip below 0 tomorrow morning. That's what it's going to actually feel like to the skin tomorrow morning, and then we're going to continue that bitterly cold air even into Saturday, and that's ahead of our storm system that's going to be pushing through. We stay clear and dry, no precipitation to speak of here over the next 2 days as we stay just very, very cold, and those winds are going to pick up through the day today, gusting to 30, 35 mile an hour, and we're going to continue to see 25-mile-an-hour gusts into the day on your Friday. Precipitation chances begin to slowly ramp up into the weekend. We've been monitoring this coastal low. We have winter storm watches now in effect for our southern counties, Accomack and Worcester counties. Could see in excess of 4 inches of snow there. A powerful area of low pressure is going to be developing off the southeast coast as the polar and subtropical jets phase off the Atlantic. We have high pressure to the north, so there's going to be a tight pressure gradient, meaning the winds are going to be picking up. So we expect that snow to break out late Saturday morning for our southern areas, for the heart of our area, through the afternoon on Saturday and continue. But notice there is a very, very sharp cutoff from snow at the coast to the west. You go to the I-95 corridor, you may not see virtually anything. So there's still some uncertainties as to how close this area of low pressure is going to get. But an early snow call here. We have 3 to 6 inches for all of the Delaware beaches down through Ocean City, right along 113 down to Crisfield and Chickateague. 2 to 4 from Cambridge, Salisbury, Georgetown, right through Milford, and then a coating to virtually an inch from Dover on north. There's going to be a very sharp cutoff with that snow as we go into Sunday morning. 32, we finally get to the freezing mark, so there's a step in the right direction. As we go into Monday, we stay sunny and dry through early next week with highs in the mid to upper 30s. Matt.
Thank you, Chris, and be sure to download the Coast TV app for your phone and tablet. You can also get the Coast TV streaming app for your TV with devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Extreme cold warnings are in effect this week as wind chills could drop into the negative numbers. There are plenty of frozen and slick surfaces still covering Delmarva, and doctors are warning that icy conditions can quickly lead to serious injuries. With the frigid cold, doctors are also urging people to take extra precaution when heading outside.
It doesn't take long for somebody to take a misstep, even if they're just going from their garage into their house, having a fall just in the wrong direction and ending up needing a surgery to repair it.
Doctors recommend limiting time outside, wearing layers, covering exposed skin, and checking in on your neighbors, especially the elderly.
The Delaware Department of Health and Social Services will continue operating warming centers today through, starting today, or continuing today, through the 30th. They will run from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. In Sussex County, it's at the Shipley State Service Center, Adams State Service Center, and Laurel State Service Center. In Kent County, it's at the Williams State Service Center and Smyrna State Service Center. And in Newcastle County, at Canby Park Office, Claymont State Service Center, and Churchman's Corporate Center.
And the time is now 5:53 a.m. Matt, it is time to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Love this little person here. Today's coastal pet of the day celebrating a birthday. On your screen, that's Tashi. We imagine Tashi has a big smile, just as big, if not bigger, on her face right now as she basks in all the birthday love. And look at that. She loves watching
Happy
Coast
birthday.
TV in the morning.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to our coastal pet of the day.
Great. I'm impressed you just came up with that.
Thank you. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. If you want to send us photos and tell us what makes them so special, take a look at your screen now at this birthday girl.
Yeah, perhaps some clever lyrics, too, to a song. You can scan that QR code at the top of your screen to get your friend to us. And then watch weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. And we're bringing back First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. More the same.
More the same.
More the same.
It is so cold, even the snowmen outside are freezing, wearing their hats and gloves. Chris, are we going to see any warm temperatures at all? Maybe.
Maybe not until early next week. I mean, we're going to have plenty of sun, so that is a positive, but we're not going to get above, the mid-20s. And look at those wind chills as we go to the warmest part of the day, only feeling like the low to mid-teens. Yeah, that's thanks to wind gusts in excess of 30 miles an hour. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow morning. Wind chills below zero. Now we do have yellow alerts in play for Saturday night through Sunday. Watching that coastal low, we expect the greatest impacts at the coast. Far sharp cutoff with snow from the coast in through the inland. And then we're looking at winds picking up as well, gusting near 50 on Sunday. And then we dry things out and get it finally above the freezing mark in through next week.
Not great, Chris. Not great. Coming up in our next hour, functioning in the freeze, how workers outside are attempting to stay protected from the cold conditions. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.